Crime, Wine, and Chaos contains adult language and graphic content. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey, Chaos Kids. I'm Amber.
And I'm Naomi. And this is Crime, Wine, and Chaos.
It is. God.
Weird noise and a weird face in me right when you hit record. Like, how am I supposed
You're not. That's the whole idea. Hey. I like to fuck with you.
Oh, the love of a sister. There's nothing quite like it. There's nothing quite like it.
There really isn't. It's something. It's something.
It's something.
How are you?
I am well, thank you. We're recording on a different day than we normally record. It's Sunday afternoon, which feels a little weird. And I'm kind of
feel weird
in like easy like Sunday morning mode, you know. I did leave the house for a minute, which was rough. I did leave the house for a minute so that I could take Sebastian to the woo-woo store to spend a whole bunch of money on his lady friend for a Valentine's Day gift today.
Oh, that's sweet. What's the woo-woo store?
Oh, it's called Stargazers. It's over in Bellevue.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Have you ever been there? You'd love it.
No.
Jade would love it. It is like they have like a room full of like intention card decks and tarot decks, and they have like ceremonial like feather fans and they have like Reiki infused essential oil room sprays and things with different, purposes. And they have all of the rocks and you know what I mean? Like it's got like the candles and the incense and it smells amazing in there because it has all the candles and the incense and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's her favorite. It's her favorite kind of stuff. So Sebastian kind of went hog wild in there and bought her a bunch of things. So
that's very sweet.
That's my Sunday. That's what I did today. How are you, Sissy? What's going on with you?
Good. Speaking of VD, do you have plans on Tuesday?
Speaking of VD.
Hope I don't get VD on VD.
Oh my God. No plans for... I can't believe you're asking me that. No, I have no plans for Valentine's Day.
I know. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm just well, you know what? Your plan could be to treat yourself to a really nice meal, take a bubble bath. I mean, I don't fucking know.
Look, doesn't need to be. You know what? I date myself every day. I love myself every day. Every day with me is Valentine's Day for me. So
good for you. Good for you, sister.
I encourage that. You know what I've been doing all week is I've been channeling my inner Lizzo. I think every woman has an inner Lizzo and you should tap into her and bring her into your life more.
God bless her. Agreed. Agreed.
What about you? You going to do something for VD? What's up?
Yeah, we are. So we booked. Have you been to the new lodge that was once St. Edward's?
No, I've heard all about it, but I have not been.
Yeah, it's very cool. So they've got like a real bougie restaurant in there now called the Elm.
Okay.
And they're doing 5-course Valentine's Day dinner special.
Oh, prefix.
Yeah. And so we're going to do that. I'm pretty excited. I bought 3 dress options.
Wow. Okay. Do you need help? Do you need help picking one out?
I'm not sure. You know what? I might put each one on and take a pic and send it to you.
Yes, do that, please. I'm all about that. Yes, let's do it.
I'm pretty excited about that.
After we're done recording, you go put on your dresses and send me pictures. Okay. Love that
today?
For you. Yeah, today.
Okay, maybe tomorrow. Okay,
maybe. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into it, and I want to get into it because I have a crime and I'm pretty sure you have a chaos story for me and I'm super excited to hear it.
I do.
But we should mention we have flyers already that have already gone out on socials because of course you guys know we record like 3 or 4 weeks ahead of when the episodes actually air. So you're going to hear this. It'll only be like a few weeks away, but we are doing for realsies in front of a live studio audience episode of Crime, Wine, and Chaos.
That's right.
We are doing that.
If you're in the Seattle area, the iconic Blue Moon Tavern is gracious enough to host us for a show. $10 at the door.
Sunday night, April 2nd. I think show starts at 6.
Show starts at 6.
I think I'm going to puke. I just
You're not going to
a little in my mouth.
I'll have a little Dixie cup if you're gonna spew
into this.
Yeah, and also on that bill will be my band Tinfoil Top Hat. We're gonna share the stage for the night.
Hell yes.
Give it to Seattle.
Yes. So we're come down and hang out and have a couple of beers, a couple glasses of wine, and hear some live music and get chaotic with us in person.
Yes.
Yes.
Talk to us, meet us, ask us questions. We'll be there.
I think there'll even maybe be some t-shirts or something. I don't know. We'll see what we can do.
We're working on it.
We're working on it.
Our best.
You know what? We can only do our best. All right. With that, let us get into a crime story, Amber.
Oh, wait. BT dubs. I'm drinking water because last night I had one whole glass of wine and all day today my body has rejected that. So,
and I totally forgot to ask you about that.
That's apologize. Okay. That's all right. I'm just so drinking water.
I'm so
Sunday
sorry.
at 3:00.
You know what? I'm just drinking water too, per usual, as you all know. That's what I do. That's how I roll. You know what? You can drink wine if you're listening. By all means, drink the wine. This crime story might need to be a little loose to hear this one. Yep. Are you ready for this, Sissy?
I'm gonna try to be.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you about the murder of Katarzyna Zowada. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Okay. If you're not sure if you've heard about this one before, fair warning, it may be very disturbing. I mean, I have heard plenty of gruesome things as one who spends a lot of time steeped in the telling and listening to of true crimes, but this one shocked even me.
Oh no.
Also, I'm not sure how I had never heard about this before, especially because of its gruesome details, but I had not heard this before. I just found this one recently.
Okay.
We are going to Krakow, Poland in 1998. Okay. Katarzyna Zowada was 23 years old and quite pretty with dark golden blonde hair and like green or hazel eyes. She was attending college at Jagiellonian University. I'm so sorry. I do not speak Polish. She was going to university.
Don't?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I know. Spoiler alert.
Oh.
So she was attending college. She was going to the university in Krakow. Katarzyna was a very nice young woman, although her friends would describe her as sad and withdrawn. Many said she was shy, but quite friendly to her friends and even to strangers. Apparently, 2 years prior to going away to college, her father had passed away, and she had struggled with depression ever since.
Oh, God, that's pretty young to lose a parent.
Yeah, exactly. And she kept most of this to herself. Because from what I could gather, she literally just didn't want to overwhelm anyone with her feelings or like burden them. You know, she had this feeling of like,
I can relate to that.
Yeah, being burdensome with her depression and her grief around her dad. It seems like Katarzyna wasn't really sure what she wanted to be when she grew up either. She kind of switched around a few times. She had started with her studies at the university initially as a psychology student, and then she briefly attended a history course, and then finally she settled on religious studies.
Okay. Interesting.
She was being treated for her depression at a psychiatric clinic in Naomi, where she attended therapy sessions, often with her mother. And after her father's passing, she had grown extremely close with her mom. So her mom was really like involved in her therapy and her treatment, and went to her appointments with her most of the time, and was really showing up for her. Like they were super tight.
That's good.
So on November 12th, 1998, she was supposed to meet her mom there at that clinic for an appointment, but she didn't show up. Later that day, her mom went to the local police station to file a missing persons report, but I bet you can guess what they told her.
Come back on Monday. There's nobody here for the weekend.
Yeah, well, something like that. It was
24, 48 hours.
Yeah, it was too soon for a report. And they told her that because of her age, she was probably just out with her friends and just forgot about her appointment, and she was just fine.
Yeah, she left on her own terms because she's an adult. Yada, yada, yada.
Yada, yada. Okay. You know the drill. Okay. So her mom tried searching for Katarzyna on her own, but of course she didn't find any trace of her. Some people thought that she may have actually disappeared on her own to get away from everyone. Or worse, that because of her depression, she may have taken her own life and just had yet to be found.
Right.
So at some point,
I mean, that's the other thing is like her mom knows that she's really depressed and going through it. So she's also like an at risk.
Yes.
So the police should have really, what the fuck?
Well,
anyway.
I mean, ACAB, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So at some point, her mom must have been able to file the report because the next piece of information in the case comes in January of 1999. So this would have been like about 2 months later. On the 6th of January, the crew of the pusher tugboat, the Elk, while chugging along on the Vistula River, discovered something strange caught up in and floating out of the boat's propeller.
Oh, God.
It was long, smelled awful, and was pale and spotted.
Oh, God.
Okay, this is where it starts to get bad. Okay. When they got a bit closer to look at it, there was clearly a human ear attached to it.
Oh, my God. Okay.
When they removed it from the propeller and examined it, they realized it was human skin.
Oh. Okay.
Obviously, the police were called to come and get this horrific discovery, and DNA testing was performed. Okay, so this was 1998. Sidebar. A year after the semen from the underwear that Lindy Beechler was wearing was sent for testing and only came back as a male perpetrator, which of course is a fucking given because it's a semen sample.
Right.
But anyway.
No shit. I know. Yep, it's a man. Okay, thanks.
Right?
Thanks.
Anyway,
cool.
It was determined to, in fact, be Katarzyna Zowada's skin.
Oh, no.
And look, I don't know exactly how they came to all the conclusions they came to about what police say happened to Katarzyna. Initially, it was assumed that the propeller had been the cause of all the damage on the skin, but according to further testing, it was concluded that Katarzyna had been skinned alive.
No.
They also determined that her head and limbs had been deliberately removed and her skin had been fashioned into and sewn up into a bodysuit that they assume had been worn by her murderer.
Oh my God. No.
Yeah, we're officially at horror movie status at this point.
No shit. Oh my God.
So police also believed that the damage to her skin that they thought initially that the propeller caused was actually due to a whole fuck ton of torture while she was still alive.
Oh no.
They believe she was drugged, severely beaten, and tortured before her death.
And they're drawing these conclusions entirely. All they have is skin and an ear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Her body, or at least her torso and neck, was covered in stab wounds and lacerations. There was also evidence she had been raped before and after her death. I don't know how they know this. I've never been able to understand that. There are conflicting reports that she could have been held for anywhere from 3 to 4 days after her disappearance to as long as a month. Her official cause of death was ruled as blood loss, but it was also determined that she had her organs removed while she was still alive, hence the blood loss.
While she was still alive?
Again, I do not understand how they could determine all this with just the skin of her torso and neck. Also, side note, okay, there is a picture of her skin bodysuit that is on the internet. I will not be including that for the social post. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh my God.
It is horrific. I did not go looking for that. It just showed up on one of the articles I was reading.
And you can't ever unsee that.
Nope.
Wow. So I'm sorry, sister.
I've seen that now. The only other remains that were ever found of Katarzyna were her right leg and some of her clothes, which were recovered from the same river a little over a week after her skin was found.
Did divers go in and fully search that
I did not read anything that said that, but I can't imagine that they didn't.
Right.
What I know is that this was like the worst and like biggest crime story ever in all of Poland. And somehow it did not really make it very far outside of Poland. I went searching. I mean, I definitely found articles and I found like a YouTube here or there about it. I think maybe a couple of crime pods that I recognize have covered it, but it's like not hugely reported. I don't know if it's like a lost in translation thing. Most of the articles I read were kind of regurgitations of each other. There wasn't a lot of new information to be found. Every article I clicked on was kind of the same thing over and over again. So an investigation begins in earnest with not much to go on, I guess. I mean, they even called in outside help from other countries, including the FBI, and they put together a profile on this sick fuck. Obviously male, sadist, enjoyed harassing women, likely had a criminal record, and judging by some of the wounds, was probably trained in some kind of self-defense, but they weren't really getting anywhere. And this is where it gets so fucking weird. Like, what the fuck? In May of 1999, the forensic medicine unit in Krakow receives the corpse of a man with a severed and scalped head.
What?
Yeah, I mean, like, what are the odds, right? This has got to be the work of the same murderer. How many killers in Krakow are out here skinning their victims?
No shit.
So it was quickly determined that the killer of this man was actually his own son, Vladimir W. And I could not find this guy's full last name. They actually really protect, like, perpetrators in Poland. It's interesting. So apparently, prior to his arrest, he was seen in a mask made of skin pulled from the head of his own father.
This is fucking Silence of the Lambs.
Yes, and here's where I couldn't find any more information about that, and I have so many questions. Where was he seen? By whom exactly? Was he just like at the grocery store in this fucking human skin mask? I don't know. I don't know who saw him, where he was, but he was seen in a skin mask made from his father's face.
That is so disgusting. Okay. Wow.
So, for obvious reasons, law enforcement were pretty sure this was their guy. But Vlad was adamant he had nothing to do with Katarzyna's murder and that what he had done to his father was super personal, stemming from deep-seated anger at what his father had done to him throughout his life. He had meant for the crime to be a work of art.
Okay, Vlad, that's no.
To show how cruel human beings can be to one another with no worry of remorse.
Okay, that's not how any of that works, but okay.
He told police he wore his father's mask to pretend to be him. So he gets 25 years in prison for this heinous crime. Eventually, he actually gets transferred to like Russia. I think he was actually originally from Russia. Law enforcement are unable to connect Vladimir to Katarzyna in any way.
Wow. Fuck. So he didn't attend the university. He didn't like work with her. He didn't.
Nope.
Jeez.
They could not put him with her at all. There was no evidence that he had anything to do with it. There was just another fucking weirdo psychopath in Krakow skinning and wearing human skin.
Oh, okay.
So
it's not town's not big enough for the two of us.
I don't even. So police did continue to work on the case, including continued forensic and psychological analysis, and they added to the profile of the killer. They concluded that he was extremely skilled with a knife and knew how to precisely flay something, meaning he was either a skilled hunter or a butcher. The self-defense training was still widely considered to be true, and that he practiced an undisclosed specific form of martial arts. So like that was a back pocket piece of information that the police were keeping. So like it was specifically so like it was specifically like jujitsu or karate or right, like, but they weren't saying which it was.
Okay.
In October of 2017, 19 years after Katarzyna's murder, police made an arrest based on new evidence.
Oh, wow.
52-year-old Robert Jędrzejewski had apparently been a person of interest in the very early days of the investigation, but of course, at that time, they didn't have enough evidence to arrest him. But in 2017, a friend of Jędrzejewski wrote the police suggesting he may be the killer they were looking for all these years.
Oh, shit.
The contents of that letter are highly guarded and nobody knows what it says. At least no one in the public does.
Right.
A search of his apartment revealed blood in the bathroom and around the bath frame. They actually pulled a bunch of shit out of his bathroom and forensically tested it. He also fit the profile. He was highly trained in martial arts, had a history of harassing women, and was known to visit Katarzyna's grave often.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Like, you'd think it would have taken him 19 years to figure out that there was some rando like coming to her grave all the time.
No shit.
Right? Like, had he been on their radar this whole time and they were just like hands tied without anything to tie him to this murder?
Also, still blood 19 years later? What?
I mean, like maybe in the grout?
That's crazy.
I don't know. I don't know.
Fuck. Wow. Okay.
So he had also previously worked in a lab where he sometimes dissected human corpses. And he was fired from the Krakow Institute of Zoology after all of the institute's rabbits were killed during his shift. And he had no explanation for what happened to the rabbits.
Oh my God. No. Oh God. This guy is spooky.
Right? Spooky Yuki.
Spooky Yuki.
So, of course, this dude denies knowing Katarzyna or having anything to do with her death.
Mm-hmm.
Police were able to get an extension on his detainment while they gathered evidence against him up to September 6, 2018. So about a year. At some point, he complained about harassment from the prison guards. The claims were investigated and found to be false.
Of course. Did he have any explanation as to why he was at her grave so frequently?
I mean, there is just not much information on this guy or any of the evidence against him or anything at all. This is all highly guarded information all around. And I mean, you know, he could have been receiving harassment from the prison guards. That could have been true.
Sure.
Police must have obtained more extensions because in 2019, he was still in custody and again complaining of his treatment by his guards. And this really pissed off the guards and the police since they were forced to investigate his claims yet again, which they obviously found to be groundless yet again. And then they went ahead and added lying to police by falsely accusing the prison guards to his charges.
Whatever. Like what? Yeah. Okay. Some misdemeanor when you've already
you're already
murdered and skinned somebody.
Yeah, exactly. All the stories I could find were from last year, and they all said basically the same thing. Janciuski remains behind bars, although the trial was not open to the public. The status of the case and whether he has been to trial, convicted, or sentenced for the crimes is unknown.
Wow. Well, you know, other countries sort of do it, in my opinion, right? I mean, sucks for people like us that are trying to find research, but it really shouldn't be a media frenzy.
Sure. So that is the murder of Katarzyna Zowada.
Oh my God. That was fucking terrible.
I know. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Do you think he did it?
I mean, it's really hard to know, right? Because everything is behind the veil and we're not allowed to know like very much at all. So it's really hard to have an opinion on this guy. I mean, it's interesting to me that he was on their radar in the very beginning, and I'm wondering why.
Right.
Why? How did his name even come up in the beginning? Was he on their radar the whole time? Were they just trying desperately to find something that was like legitimate enough to tie him to it that they could arrest him and they just couldn't? I imagine that any forensic evidence that would tie him to her or her body was pretty much like, you know, obliterated in the process of being in the river and like getting caught up in the propeller of the tugboat. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there was nothing of him left on that skin. So like,
but they sure came up with a lot of conclusions based on just that. And which is wild to me. And I'm wondering where they got and he's for sure trained in martial arts. Like, where did that come from?
And not even just martial arts, like a specific kind of martial arts.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that has to do with the fact that he was already on their radar.
Yeah.
And like he was their profile. I don't know.
It's so weird.
I don't know. But I was blown away by the fact that they like thought they had the guy because there was another guy like skinning people alive in the same city.
Shit.
Like in the same, like not even a year later. Like what is going on in Krakow? Like what?
I don't know.
It's crazy pants.
That is crazy pants. I hated that, sister.
I'm so sorry. So you guys, if you want to go find more information, please be careful because there are pictures you probably don't want to see. Like literally, like multiple pictures you do not want to see. So there it is, sissy.
Oh, that was terrible. I hated that. Thank you.
So sorry. I love you.
It's okay. I love you too.
You know what? You're going to change everything for us because you've got a hilarious romp of a chaos, right?
I do have a very bizarre chaos. Yeah, I do. Yay. Are you ready for this?
I am so ready. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to, I'm going to give you a little rundown. So in the late 1800s, pop culture romanticized the Wild West.
I mean, they still kind of do.
If you were east of the Mississippi, you likely had the belief that the West was basically exactly as it was depicted in like Back to the Future 3. Right?
I mean, I was saying, like, I feel like there's still to this day a lot of romanticizing of the Wild Wild West. You know, like that
Oh, yeah,
hasn't gone
for
away.
sure.
That has not gone away. Yeah.
No. So if you were traveling for the first time to the West, you expected to see like gunfights and, danger and excitement and all this, right?
Right. And then like the Native Americans, which they called Indians at the time, would just like be standing up on a hill, like making war cries and like shooting arrows that were ineffectual and just kind of went over the covered wagon just to make you feel like you had arrived in the West.
Yes.
Right.
Someone dies of dysentery. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So we're going to go to Palisade, Nevada. It's located in the northeastern part of Nevada. It was founded in 1868, and it was a stop on the Central Pacific Railroad.
Okay.
So passengers traveling to San Francisco or Chicago used to stop in Palisades to move around and eat before getting back on the train for the remainder of their trip.
Great.
So there was a lot of new people coming through Palisades, but they all complained that it wasn't the wild, wild west that they hoped it would be.
I have a feeling I know where this is going, and I love it. Yes.
So they thought they were going to see cowboys, but it was just like a quaint, modest town with like a saloon and just like local folks going about their day.
Snooze. Snooze. I'm taking a nap now.
It was a snooze fest. So
nobody even tried to rob our train on the way here.
No, soup's fucking boring. Like I got a sandwich and used the bathroom and everyone was polite and that was it. Like what the fuck?
Lame. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the people of Palisade wanted to give the travelers what they wanted, and they wanted to increase their town's interest. So they had this idea that they were going to turn their town into a Wild West show.
So they were like pre Walt Disney. They were like they figured it out before Walt ever knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. So when travelers got off the train, they would be greeted by lawmen and outlaws fighting it out.
Oh my God, stop
Guns
it.
would go off, bodies would fall.
Amazing. And they didn't even have like personal cameras at the time, so nobody could even take a picture of this insanity that was happening in front of them. We'd be with like recording with our cell phones. You guys, look what's happening. FaceTiming, mom.
Seriously.
Running out and taking a selfie while somebody's dying behind you.
Yeah, totally. Oh my God. So people would be like, what the fuck? And be like hiding behind train cars or like jumping back onto the train, right?
We're just giving the people what they want.
Of course, none of it was real, but the travelers all thought it was, and they led them to believe that it was.
No one was going to tell them.
Nope. They were firing blanks, and they even used animal blood from the local slaughterhouse.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so, conveniently, none of the travelers were ever hurt or any of the people that worked on the train. And they never noticed that the dead people would miraculously be seen later alive and well walking around town.
Well, when you're fearing for your life, you're not paying attention to details like hair and eye color and stuff, you don't notice. This is amazing. I can't wait. Keep going. I can't wait. I just imagine that there's some sort of secondary sales market going on after this too. Like what are they selling them after this?
They just didn't want to be lame. Like
that was it. They didn't find a way to like extra monetize that shit by like selling like novelty cowboy hats and shit.
They might have.
They had to have. Somebody was. Somebody was selling tchotchkes and claiming them as authentic shit. You know what I'm saying?
Tchotchkes. So this town was actually so harmless and chill that they actually didn't even have a sheriff. So like the lawmen that the people were seeing were like locals dressed up in like police costumes.
Oh my God, it's awesome.
So
I want a policeless town. That sounds amazing.
I know. Even journalists believed that the crimes were real.
I'm sorry, what?
Journalists and like the news believed that the crimes were real. So for a short time during the late 1800s, Palisades, Nevada held the record of being one of the most violent places in the U.S.
That's incredible.
They had a reputation for bloodshed.
There was like people dying every day. Yes. Actually, multiple times a day, because didn't the train come through at least twice?
Yes.
That's so good.
Oh,
the morning shift and the afternoon shift.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh my God. This is literally like a theme park. They've made their town into a theme park. This is incredible. Oh my God.
Okay. So at one of the first performances, resident Frank West, he leaned against a fence by the railroad right as the noon train stopped for lunch. And Alvin Kittleby approached. So according to one source, as the passengers are getting off the train, Alvin hollered, okay, I'm going to try and do this.
Okay.
There you are, you low down poke out.
What?
Hold on. Let me start again. Let me try again.
Oh my God.
There you are, you low down polecat. I've been waiting for you. I'm going to kill you for what you done to my poor little sister. So then, without saying anything, he quickly draws his revolver and fired at Kittleby. And Kittleby clutched his chest and screamed in agony and fell to the ground.
Oh my God.
And he moaned in pain for a few seconds and then stopped moving.
Oh my God.
By
the way, your accent reminded me so much of Grandma Kitty.
Right?
You were channeling Kitty there.
I was. Oh my God. WWKD. What would Kitty do?
What would Kitty do?
You low down polecat.
I don't even know what that means, but I'm going to start using it.
There's no way to know. Yeah, I'm going to also. So they did all this, right? And then just as the caboose, like the passengers got back on after they were like, what the fuck? And like hiding behind the train and whatever. As the caboose disappeared behind the first curve, everybody just jumped up and dusted themselves off and went about their day.
It's like the Truman Show around here.
Yes. Oh my God, it's so weird. So everybody in this town participated. Men, women, children, and even the local tribe. Like they would do cowboys and Indians.
No.
Yes. Everybody was in on it.
How did they get the Native Americans to participate in this nonsense?
Don't know. They were like, sure, we'll do a fucking live action role play. Oh, I don't know.
They're just LARPing in the town.
They're LARPing.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Oh my God. So, obviously this Wild West that the visitors wanted was achieved. Visitors would watch in horror while men fired at each other and they would just be like dumbfounded and terrified, but like fascinated.
Oh, it's a train wreck. It's a train wreck or a car crash. You can't look away from it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, here it is. The Shoshone tribe even participated with the Palisade community to play out the Wild West drama. They staged massacres, attacking men, women, and children near the railroad station. And when given a signal to do so, they would do mock stabbing and mock scalping.
What? How do you even? Oh my God. I think they're called the Shoshone or Shoshone. I think it's Shoshone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 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 Also, I would be curious to know if the Shoshone were even a tribe that was known for scalping, because I think most tribes are not. There was like one tribe, I think, that did that, and I don't think it was the Shoshone.
Oh my God. Yeah. There's a guy, Dan Ashbaugh. He's a Nevada historian. And he talked about like, there would just be shooting like in all directions and victims just falling everywhere. Like, and passengers would be like screaming and running for a safe spot.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Can you imagine if that happened today somewhere?
No, no.
I mean, it
Jesus.
would be like getting off the train in like some inner city area and then like a bunch of like people dressed up as cops and like gangs and pretended
I know. Like, damn it, I thought I was going to see some gang wars. This place is lame.
Right? What the fuck? This is
know.
insane. I gotta take off my sweater. I am getting warm.
So they used gallons of cow blood. And they particularly used the cow blood during what they described as their mock raids by the Native Americans.
Oh my God. When they were doing like the stabbing, the pretend stabbing and the pretend scalping. Where is the, how are they doing this? They've got to like, how are they utilize? I mean, what are they? I am trying to imagine.
These are all great questions.
I'm trying to imagine like the practical of, and this is like practical effects. We're getting into, this is like before Hollywood even figured out how to do practical effects, right? Like little bundles, like little, I mean, I can only imagine they don't have plastic. So it's like little leather pouches that they've like filled with blood and they're like somehow like letting, you know what I mean? Like,
I have so many questions. Also, I want to know how that, like, do they have rehearsals and like dress rehearsals? And did they have like a town meeting and be like, we're putting on a town play?
Yes,
in.
We're
like,
doing a town play, but we're doing it like every day. Everybody stop what you're doing twice a day and do this play.
And I wonder if everyone just knew and if they happened to be in town when the train came through or if everyone like took their position.
I don't know. That's a great question.
Like, oh, the train's coming. Get my gun. Let's do mock. Oh my God, it's so fucking funny. So they continued to thrive throughout the 1800s with the new railway station built in 1882. And it was bustling. It was a bustling wild, wild west.
Oh, my
They
God.
kept doing this for a few years.
How long did this last before people started to figure out it wasn't real?
Oh, I don't know. Yep.
Just kidding.
So
JK.
just
Oh my God.
So yeah, they built a new railway station in 1882. It was like a real bustling hub. And later it went on to become the Western Pacific Railroad that also went through town. So they continued to be supported by mining activity. However, Palisade suffered as the extrication industry began to wane and lessening the demand accompanied by several floods. It's really sad. So yeah, they had their moment of fame. But nowadays, the Palisades is virtually a ghost town after the mines and the railroad declined at the turn of the century, followed by a significant flood in 1910. Many of its buildings were destroyed and it never really regained its footing.
Oh, well, and then we stopped traveling by train as much. The car came through. They kind of went it sounds like they kind of went the way of, what's the name of that town in Cars?
Oh,
right?
I don't know.
I can't remember the name of the town. Something Stop or I don't know. Anyway, Sebastian loved Cars when he was little.
Oh my God.
When he was a kid. But all I'm saying is like that was like the whole story of Cars, right? Was that like they used to be like this bustling town with like all this business and they would take care of people traveling through, but then like the interstates were made and so the highways right? People didn't take that route as much anymore. Like the same thing was going to happen to Palisades regardless, right? Because people just weren't going to be on the train and stretching their legs in Palisades anymore.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I fucking love it. I love it.
That is crazy pants. I wish you have pictures of it. There's some photographic evidence?
Oh yeah, there's some pictures.
Wait. I cannot wait.
I wish I lived there during this time.
No shit. Sounds like a fun place to live.
God. No shit. Wow, how creative.
Putting on a community theater every day. It's cool.
Yeah. That's Palisades, Nevada.
Wow.
God.
I kind of want to go. Yeah. I kind of want to stop in and see this ghost town.
Me too. What was the other place we wanted to go visit?
No, that was where you wanted to go visit. I am not going with you. You wanted to go to Nub City.
Oh, I am not going with you.
Nope.
That's right.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. You don't want to take the train through Palisades and then head on down to Florida?
I bet you can't even take the train through Palisades anymore. I bet you the only thing that runs on those rails is freight.
That is unfortunate.
That is incredible, sister. Thank you so much for that. That was exactly the palate cleanse I needed.
You're so welcome.
Well, Sissy, we did it. We made it through.
We did it.
Do we have
you got anything?
The good of the order kind of thing? We're on all the socials, on the Facebook and the Instagram and the Twitters, and we have a website, crimewineandchaos.com. You can send us email at crimewineandchaos@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Misnomers. Amber's in a band, tinfoil top hat, and that band and this podcast are going to share a bill on April 2nd at the Blue Moon at 6 o'clock, and you can come
at 6 o'clock
for $10 at the door. You can come and hear Amber belt it out for the band and belt it out for the show. So
that's right.
That's a lot of belting.
I got this, sister.
Okay,
I got this. I'm pretty quiet in my other life. I kind of save it all up.
I suppose that's true. Yeah. Okay. All right.
And check out our Patreon.
Oh my gosh. Yes, you guys, the Patreon. Yes. Chaos Kids Club, $5 a month. You'll get some bonus content. Once there's 10 of you, we'll do a virtual night together. Every time there's 10 more of you, we'll do it again. And I'm sure we'll come up with other cool stuff to give you for being a member of the club. So come join the club. And that link will also be in the show notes, along with all the other stuff. So,
yes,
well, Sissy, it was a good one. But it was motherfucking chaotic.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Crime, Wine, and Chaos is produced by 8th Direction Records. Artwork by Joshua M. Davis. Music by Paul Abner. If you would like to support the show, you can visit our Patreon page at crimewineandchaos.com/Patreon. Cheers.
Spooky Yuki.
Spooky Yuki Yuki.